Hey everybody, how's it going? Joe here, and I've been getting a lot of, well, not a lot of, but a couple comments here and there on my videos, um, basically asking about the application. So yeah, it looks like the 2011, I guess, application is coming up, and you guys have some questions. Um, so I guess basically I'm just going to go through, what you guys have been asking me, and give you some of my advice about applying for the JET program as a CIR. I've already actually made a video about this. Um, it was very kind of brief though, wasn't very in depth. Kind of just touched on a few things. Um, I guess. Um, I guess I'll start with the big one, I guess, with being a CIR is your level of Japanese. Um, how do you put that down on your application? A lot of people have asked me about the JLPT. Um, I the JLPT actually is not a requirement to become a CIR. Although it is a big plus because that's just another thing that you can put down on your application. Um, you know that's probably a good thing to keep in mind with your application in general when you're doing it. If there's a box there that just try and fill every box as best you can. Try and get as much info in there. If you leave something blank, and they're really obvious. There's not going to be some crazy thing way out there. If you have an interest in Japan and you've been to college and you've studied abroad, hopefully, if you're going to become a CIR, most CIRs do have study abroad experience. You should be able to more or less fill up every single box on that application with something. So yeah, and there is a box on the application to put in for the JLPT. And personally, me with the JLPT, I've only taken the JLPT once, and that was back during my year abroad, and I took it in the December. I got there in April, and then I took the JLPT for the first time after studying Japanese for about, well, what would that be, 8 months in December, the following December, and I passed it, JLPT level 3. So I see that a few of you, you have 2 or maybe even 1, and that's great. That's really fantastic. Like I said, it's just something you can put down there. But if you don't have a JLPT certificate, don't worry. I've been talking to a couple. Actually, had a conversation with a couple CIRs here in Toyama a couple days ago about this very subject, and I think there was only one person in the little circle that we had that had actually taken the JLPT level 1. Everybody else had either not taken it or had passed a lower level, like 2, 3, 4, 5. As it is now, there's 5 levels. I took it when there's only 4. So let's see here. What was another question? Right. Some things. Yes, teaching. Yeah, you should know that with most CIRs, basically, unless you're working in a prefectural office, and there's only 48 prefectures in Todofken. There's prefectures, administrative wards, etc. But unless you're working in one of those buildings, there's pretty much only 48 of those American, Canadian, English-speaking positions available. So unless you're in one of those, chances are you're going to be out in a city hall, or some kind of local, cultural international exchange group of some sort. So you're probably more than likely going to be teaching. So if there's any teaching experience that you can put down, please do. Don't kind of gloss over that or think that, oh, I'm going to be a CIR. I don't need to try and dig deep and try and find something that would count as an experience for teaching. Like anything that you can put down for teaching in that section, do it. Any kind of tutoring you've ever done, And if you have real, teaching experience, like in classroom teaching experience, then there you go. Just put that down. But as best as you can, just put anything you can that, that would technically fit for teaching, and put that down in your application for sure. Because you probably more than likely will be teaching English at least a little bit. For me personally, I'm teaching English all the time. I teach English 2 days a week. I visit kindergartens probably at least once a week, and I also teach an English conversation class once a week for 2 hours. So, yeah, there's some CIRs out there who do a lot of teaching. And then people were asking about the placement. Basically, just don't put down something like Tokyo or Kyoto or something impossible. They don't even place jets there. I mean, they may probably place like one jet there a year, maybe, from English speaking countries anyway. So don't put down places like that. I put down personally Hirosaki and Aomori because I'd been there. That's where I studied abroad. And I think that, that's probably a good strategy to have, because then you have to, on the application, actually write down why you want to be placed there. And obviously I had a good reason. I'd been there. I had, experience in the town. I kind of knew a little bit of the local culture. I had friends there. I had a lot of good reasons to put that down. But you do want to put something there. Don't just leave that blank, I think, and just say, like, I'll go anywhere. Because that probably sounds... I mean, I guess that could be good or bad, actually. I'm not sure. I haven't met anyone, though, that didn't put anything there. You can just leave it blank and just say, like, I'll go anywhere, but something tells me that, that's just, like, kind of saying I'm a little desperate, or I really don't care, just whatever, I just want to be in Japan. You should probably do, if you haven't been to Japan before, if you have been to Japan before, put down a place that you've been to Japan before, because then you have a really good reason for wanting to go there, and you may actually get it. But on the other hand, if you haven't been to Japan much, or you've only visited the big cities or something like that, then just put down, do some research and put down a place that maybe matches the climate where you're from, or or if you're into being down south in Kansai and you want to learn Kansai the Kansai dialect, then maybe put that down. Put in for Kansai somewhere. Just whatever matches your your interests, as it were. Okay, so some last few tips for the application for being a CIR in these last couple minutes here. I'd say definitely get started early. I mean, you guys are already asking me questions, so I assume that you're already starting writing on it. I think you probably have until the end of November, so you have about a month and a half, maybe a little less than that now. But you definitely want to be ahead of the game with your application. You want to have all of your, get started on your paperwork. You can do the written application part itself pretty much in one sitting, and I basically did. But you have to get your letters of recommendation, and all the other, you have to get like photocopies of your passport, and you have to do health form, and you may have to get like a doctor's note and all this stuff. Like, don't wait until the last second to do it. I know I didn't wait until the last second, but I kind of waited until like the last week or two, and even that I felt the crunch. So definitely, get a head start. And I found, try and get it in at least a week ahead of time, because it will take a couple days to get there. I mailed mine out. When did I mail it out? I think I mailed it out like the Monday of the week before the Monday it was due. So basically 7 days before it was due. And I was like feeling really stressed out. I was worrying that it might get lost in the mail, and that it only has basically 5-6 days to get there. But of course you're going to be mailing it somewhere close by, so that really shouldn't be a big deal. And it ended up being, I checked I got internet tracking, and it ended up getting there in like 2 days anyway. I got there by Wednesday, so it wasn't a big deal. And there probably is something to be said for getting it in early, because then there's less applications sitting on their desk at the embassy, and they're probably more likely to spend maybe an extra minute or two on yours. And oh yes, I almost forgot. In addition to your letter of recommendation and your doctor's note and everything, you have to do your statement of purpose. And I have posted my statement of purpose on my blog, and I talked a little bit about that on my previous videos. So I'll just put a link down in the bottom, and yeah, check that out. I think pretty much, being CIR and ALT, some of those statement of purposes. Obviously with the CIR, you're going to want to emphasize the fact that you're coming there, you have Japanese ability, you're interested in the culture, and you want to promote international exchange. So, and obviously you want to talk about your past experiences. So definitely emphasize those things. But I'll put a link down below, and you can check out what I did. So I think I'm running out of time here. I hope that this was helpful to some people. If you have any more questions, please, by all means, post them down below, and I will do my best to answer them and/or make another video before the application is due. So, all right, guys, see ya.